Hi guys, I'm back with another DIY video. This is in no way a tutorial, it's more just me trying to make a helmet, and right now, as you can see, I am tracing templates. I just printed up some shapes from my printer, and I'm just tracing it onto some puzzle piece floor mats. I couldn't get my hands on Worbla or EVA foam, so I just made do with what I had. I'm going in with a X-Acto knife. I switch between cutting them with scissors and X-Acto knives because these mats are really thick, and the X-Acto knife I have here is for tiny projects like paper or craft foam. It's not really for the thick mats, but as I said before, this is what I had. Now that I'm finished cutting out all the pieces, I'm just taking some Mod Podge, I believe it's the glossy one, and I'm just priming it before I paint. For the mask, I traced it out of the thick puzzle piece foam mat, and here I am just priming it with Mod Podge. And for the minor details for the Kylo Ren mask, I used light craft foam, like the super thin craft foam, and I'll also be cutting that out from the template and Mod Podging it as well. Alright, now that I'm done cutting out the mask and priming it, now I'm taking some black acrylic paint. And this is a mistake I made during the course of making this helmet, was when you use contact cement, you're not supposed to use it on painted surfaces, and I painted everything black, as you can see here, and then I tried to use the cement over it, the contact cement, and that's a big no-no, so all the edges weren't lining up because it was painted. And it was also primed with Mod Podge. So my advice is to glue everything together with either hot glue or contact cement, whichever you prefer. You can also use, I believe some people have used super glue for this type of project, but I would recommend not doing what I did and using the ear glue of choice first and then painting everything afterwards. So now moving on to the shaping with the heat gun. Again, I also made a mistake during this part of it. I noticed that the more heat you apply to it, it kind of melts the paint and the Mod Podge away, so I would do this step before and then paint it. Make sure you shape it for a few minutes. Sometimes I would leave it overnight. And now here I'm applying the contact cement. I had to have somebody help me cut the edges of the helmet. So I'm applying it. You have to let the contact cement sit 15 minutes to dry before you place it. So I let it dry for 15 minutes and then I'm placing it together as you see here. And my advice that I had received for this project was to glue the edges together first and then apply contact cement to the middle of the helmet. And as you can see, this helmet's not perfect. The shaping isn't right. The material that I had chosen for this project was too thick for the shape that I had wanted. But this is all trial and error. Now I took apart my previous parts and I'm cutting it so the edges show the matte underneath because contact cement won't work on painted surfaces. And I had to scrape off the paint as well. So I'm just cutting the edges, making sure everything's nice and clean so the contact cement will bond better. And as you can see here, I made a mistake by painting it right away. So now I had to painstakingly use my nails and the edge of scissors to try to scrape off the paint in the Mod Podge from the outer layers here. So a word of advice for if you're trying to make a project like this, do not paint your project before you do contact cement or any type of glue. Sometimes it works for certain projects, but for this it doesn't. So now I'm just applying some contact cement to the parts where I just cut. And also don't forget to let the contact cement dry for 15 minutes and then you can bond it together. And I was told that once this bonds, it doesn't come off. It's very difficult to come off unless of course you put the contact cement on a painted surface, then it will come off. But in this case, now that I've fixed everything, the contact cement stayed on really well. And for this type of project, you want a really strong glue so everything holds together and you don't have to worry about it falling off. Now here I am applying the contact cement to the mask. I had to do the same thing with the helmet portion. I had to scrape off the black paint and Mod Podge. And I also had to do the same thing on the helmet, but I didn't show that part. So I have this styrofoam head, and I applied it a bit too low. I didn't film the part where I corrected it. And this is the final look. This is the helmet. This is the front view when it's all completed. It's no way done and it's no way perfect. This is the final result, and this is me posing with the helmet with my Female Kylo Ren cosplay. Thank you guys for watching. I hope you enjoyed this DIY attempt, and I'll see you next time.